morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to today's webinar on the Flavors of the North, organized in conjunction with our good friends at the Nordic Tourism Collective. We have a really great speakers today, and I'm really happy to welcome all of them later on in the session. But first, allow me to first introduce myself. My name is Paul Brancan. I'm Director of Communications and External Affairs at the Pacific Asia Travel Association, otherwise known as PATA, and I will be your host for today. As I said, I just want to give you some technical notes here. As you will see on your screen at the bottom of your browser, you'll see a toolbar where there's a chat function and a Q&A. For the chat function, feel free to engage with other participants as well as speakers, say hello, where you're from, what you're doing, any comments about any of the presentations you see. However, if you have any questions for our panelists, there will be a Q&A session towards the end of this webinar. Please submit your questions using the Q&A function as shown on your screen. Please do not submit any questions using the chat function. It's difficult for me to switch back and forth from chat to Q&A, so please do submit your questions using the Q&A function as noted. Just one other note about both the chat and the Q&A, please do keep it professional and cordial. We're here to have a good time, learn about the Nordic region, and explore about the new experiences and exciting ventures we can have when we can all travel again. So a little bit about today's session. As I said, I'd like to thank our good friends at the Nordic Tourism Collective for helping us organize today's webinar. We will have a quick journey around the Nordic region and look into the different offerings and experiences of the region so that operators will have a better understanding of how to communicate to their clients, but not just for operators, but also, just for the casual travel. If you wanted, if you're thinking about traveling to the Nordic region, to any of these destinations, you can learn more about them and, what suits your needs. So this is not just for operators, but for anybody who's interested in travel, especially to the region. And with that, I would like to now introduce the director of the Nordic Tourism Collective. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Paul Wagner. Paul?
Good morning. Thank you very much, Paul. And hello, everybody in the audience. And absolutely delighted to be with you here this afternoon. And we're very delighted and humbled to be partners with PATA and to have this amazing opportunity to give you a flavor, even a taste of Northern Europe. My name is Paul Wagner, a co-founder of the Nordic Tourism Collective, a not-for-profit association looking after the tourism interest of buyers and suppliers from across the Nordic region, from Greenland in the very west to the Baltics in the east. Our membership consists of around 150 members, half being suppliers in the shape of national tourist offices, DMOs, DMCs, hotels, restaurants, attractions, activity company, and of course, transportation companies. And the other half, buyer members consisting of tour operators, agents, and B2B providers with programs to the Baltic and Nordic regions. And after such a tough period for our industry, it's so important to remind ourselves of what incredible destinations we have around the world. And that's very much our mission here today. The Nordic and Baltic regions are full of variety in terms of culture and landscape, all very sparsely populated with very little crowds, but blessed with incredible nature. And we're going to show you a little bit of this today. The Asian markets have always been so important to the Nordic and Baltic regions, and we're developing rapidly pre-COVID in 2019. And for all the destinations here today, Asian markets will once again be coming back, and they are so important once again as the recovery bites and the international travel gets going once again. Our partners in the region all appreciate the importance and potential of all the Asian source markets. So hopefully with the focus now on security and nature, this webinar will fill you with dreams, ideas, and hopefully business opportunities to secure the visitors from Asia to our Nordic regions. So we're looking forward to showcasing our Nordic region with you, and please enjoy it very much. And back over to you, Paul.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. So as many as you know, somebody might be asking, well, what does the Nordic region have to do with the Pacific Asia Travel Association? And I will like to remind everybody, for us, our mission is to act as a catalyst for the responsible development of travel and tourism to, within, and from the Asia Pacific region. And that's why we are really pleased to be able to present today's webinar. And we're going to go around the region and get a little flavor of what each of them have to offer. And with that, we will first start off with the Vice President of Global Sales at Finnair. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mikko Turtiainen. Mikko?
Thank you very much. I have to say your pronunciation of my last name was spot on. Extremely well said. Good morning and good day to everyone. It's great to be here, and a big thank you for the opportunity to be here today, giving a bit of a pulse in regards to where Finnair is and what Finland represents. I've been with Finnair for 22 years, so I've seen the many ups and downs of the industry, and I'm still struggling to find the exact words to reflect on the past year and a half. Finnair, at the very core of our strategy, has been Asia. Finnair has been working towards offering one of the best options between Europe and all of Asia, as well as for travel from Asia into all of Europe, with a focus on our home markets being Finland, the Nordics, and Scandinavia. So this is an extremely important region for us, and I'm extremely proud to be here today to represent us. The past year and a half, I've never followed, country travel restrictions and thought about how do we build up our network and and bringing our ambitions of flying more into the network, and it's never been as difficult as it has been today to really look into the future and see when do we fly, how many Singapores, how many Seoul flights, how many into Japan and China and Southeast Asia. It's been extremely difficult to forecast the demand. In Europe, we're slowly starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see more freedom in regards to travel, especially if you are double vaccinated. And this is a sign that we do welcome, and this does allow us more ambitious thoughts in regards to getting our network up and running. We'll be putting on a video in a moment, and this video is something that represents Finland, and Finnair offers the accessibility from Asia into Finland as well as Scandinavia, and we wanted to bring a touch of inspiration in regards to what Finland represents, what those elements of Finland as a travel destination are, which are very much linked to nature, to lakes, to the Northern Lights, to Santa Claus, to Helsinki as a great city destination, and everything that you can find in between, with that bucket list Arctic Circle going through northern Finland and Rovaniemi. But I think we'll talk more in the actual panel, but these were the opening words that I'm very much looking forward more into the future, more into seeing how the world opens up and ensuring that Finnair has a very strong network when we look at connecting Asia with all of the Europes that we serve in, or all the cities that we serve in Europe. So maybe we jump into the video and have a bit of inspiration in regards to seeing elements of Finland. Will you, Paul, be able to get the video? So this was a small touch of what Finland represents, and this video was from the Lakeside district in Finland, so Lakeland, which is on the eastern side of Finland, and very rich in regards to nature and combining cities with the lakes and the forests. And looking at this video, this is so much part of every Finn, and this is something that we hope that we can also offer to all travelers who come to Finland, to also get a piece of what we, to a degree, live in every day. But thank you everyone for this opening. Thank you for having Finnair here today to speak about travel as well as about Finland and this area. And now I give it back to you, Paul, and going forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mikko. You really I look forward to trying to find Santa Claus if I ever get to Finland. But yes, it was a very inspiring video, and I'm sure we'll see some more inspiring video with the next presentations. If you have any questions for Mikko, remember we will have a Q&A towards the end of the webinar, so feel free to drop it into the Q&A. So next, let's move around the region and Visit Denmark with the director at Visit Denmark. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Flemming Brun. Flemming, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and have a good day, all of you. Nice to see you, or so many participating here. I'm also very proud to be part of this Nordic seminar here today, and very happy to tell you that here in the Nordics, especially here in Denmark, we are almost feeling that we are coming back to normal. Sorry, after the COVID crisis. When I say that, it means that we can see, we can have travelers, of course, the Danish themselves, domestic travel, but also from all EU countries are welcome to come in. As long as you can show a double vaccine or a negative test, or you have had the disease, proof of that, you are welcome to come to Denmark. And from the 1st of September, that means next week, I think all restrictions are lifted here in Denmark, so we are back to normal. I can come back to that about the Asian markets later on. I have a video to show you today that gives you an idea about what is Denmark. Many of you probably know already about Copenhagen, heard and seen maybe Copenhagen, but Denmark is much more than that. And the first part is about the coast and nature. And the second part is about our bigger cities in Denmark. That means Copenhagen, Aarhus, Odense, and Aalborg. Please have a view. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I can of course give you more details later on in sitting in the panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fleming. I was so shocked with that skiing on top of the building. That was an amazing, amazing shot. So thank you so much. And yes, any questions for Fleming, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. He'll be with us there, and we can any questions you might have, I'm sure he'll be happy to answer. So thank you very much, Fleming, and we'll see you a bit later. I also want to just welcome everybody who's watching this on our Facebook channel. So welcome all of you. Feel free to drop any questions on Facebook. I'll try to see if I can bring them over here to our webinar as well. So we've looked at Finland, we've looked at Denmark, and let's move around the region. And next, Visit Iceland. And with us is the Senior Manager for Trade Delegations at Visit Iceland, Promote Iceland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Thorleifur Thor Jonsson. Thorleifur,
thank you, Paul.
Over to you.
Thank you, Paul. It's a pleasure to be with you here on this nice and bright morning. It is a very early morning here in Iceland, and we are really happy to be able to participate in this program with you. Here in Iceland, things have been picking up pretty much close to normal. We have, since this spring, been open to all fully vaccinated persons. So we have been seeing tourism rolling out quite nicely. Of course, there are restrictions in our neighboring countries, some of them, but we are blessed with a very good summer, so things have been doing quite nicely. With the great expanses of Iceland being the whole 103,000 square kilometers in size, but with a very small population of only 360,000, we have ample space for everyone that wants to distance himself. He can travel around and have a full choice of whether he intermingles with others or not. So for those who are really wanting to have a place for themselves, then Iceland is the ideal location. I think the video that Paul will be running now will be showing this quite nicely. We have plenty of space, plenty of nature, and great activity for all of you to explore. And just remember, Iceland is not nearly as cold as the name implies. So over to you, Paul, and let's roll the pictures.
All right, so we've, excuse me, sorry. Oh, Thor is back. Any
Yep.
final words?
Yeah, I just want to, the last image that you could see is our latest addition to the wonderful things that we are offering our visitors. It's a nice little eruption that is happening here, less than an hour's drive out of Reykjavik and our capital. Actually, on your way from the international airport, you can drop by and have a look at a nice little eruption that has been going on for the last 5 months. So everything to please our visitors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thor. And as said, if you have any questions for him, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. He'll be back with us as we move into that section later. Thank you very much, and let's move on to our next destination. So as we move around the destination, we're going to come to something that I'm not very familiar with, so I do look forward to hearing more about this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the heart of Lapland. He's the market and business developer at the heart of Lapland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. David Lind. David?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today. So I represent Heart of Lapland, and we are the DMO of the eastern part of Swedish Lapland. And we call ourselves Heart of Lapland because we're sort of the heart between the Finnish Lapland and the Swedish Lapland. And we try to promote the Arctic lifestyle and authenticity. So in that, I wanted to present today sort of a personal message video where I actually filmed myself just outside where I live in the southern part of Heart of Lapland. It's quite a big destination. Please hit the video, Paul.
Hello guys, and welcome to Heart of Lapland. My name is David Lind, and I work for the DMO Heart of Lapland. And today I want to share with you the beautiful archipelago of Kalix. Kalix are the most southern part of Heart of Lapland, where Haparanda and Kalix, 2 of the 5 municipalities creating Heart of Lapland, offer some of the most beautiful islands in the world, if you ask me. This is brackish water. We have so many rivers coming out in this in the Gulf of Bothnia. So the water is actually not salt here in the ocean. It's brackish, so it's sort of sweet and salt, and we call it the sweetest ocean in the world. That gives us a unique archipelago. It's frozen in winter, so you can come here and experience the icebreaker safaris, northern light, dog sledding on the ocean. That's pretty unique and fantastic. And if you move north through the destination Heart of Lapland, you will find a big variety of scenery. We have 2 national rivers protected by law from hydroplants and pollution, so it's drinkable water, and you can travel along these rivers. The Torne River, bordering Finland, works as a sort of border river, and the Kalix River. And all along these river valleys, you find a big number of suppliers offering a wide range of activities, of course, but also accommodation, very personal, everything from high-end to more modest prices if that's what you want. And you get to meet the owners, the locals, and they will share their local knowledge and the culture, the Tornedalian culture. And the Tornedalian culture is what we get when you blend Finnish, Swedish and the Sami cultures together. We call that the Tornedalian culture, and with what we offer here in terms of nature's pantry and the knowledge of an Arctic lifestyle and historical ways of finding food in nature, gives us a very unique cuisine that we're very proud of, where you have sustainable food products year-round, and that gives us, we can offer vegan food, vegetarian food, and it will be locally produced and have a very unique sort of taste to it. Also due to the conditions here. We have now in summer, you know, the midnight sun. So even though it's a short summer, it's 24 hours daylight. It's all the sea bottom, this area. So quite rich soil. So it's very lush, more productive than most people think. Coming here in summer, you can have warm weather and you will find us grow all kinds of crops in our gardens, and you can find in nature lots of things to do. So I would say if I want to share something unique about this destination today, the food culture, it's a must see, must experience, and a reason to travel. So welcome to Heart of Lapland.
Yeah, so, and I just wanted to add to this video, this was recorded early August. That was at pretty late in the evening, actually. And now, just a month later, the evening starts getting dark. It's all happening very fast now. So we're actually entering the Northern Light season now. So when you talk about Northern Light travel and experiences, don't forget about this period of the year. The autumn is a fantastic time of the year to experience both the Nature's Pantry and the Northern Light products. So yeah, year-round destination for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Okay, so as we come to our final two speakers and as you move around the region, I would like to now welcome from the Tourism LIAA, the Tourism Development Agency of Latvia. She's the director of the tourism department. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Inese Sirava. Over to you. I think you just have to unmute yourself and you can begin.
Yes, hello everybody. Greetings from Latvia. And I'm proud to be here with you today in this webinar. I represent Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, and in tourism field, we are responsible for development of tourism products and tourism promotion of Latvia. And Asian market was important before pandemic and will stay in our focus, of course, in future. But of course, due to COVID pandemic, we had to change also our focus and work more with domestic market or near markets. But I hope that with lifting travel restrictions, we will come back to the normal situation. So about Latvia and Latvian tourism. Latvia is one of 3 Baltic countries. It's a small country. Our population is 1.9 million, but our country is full of world-class values. We are proud of our history, our traditions, architecture, heritage, beautiful capital of Riga, with its famous old town. And Latvia is a clean, green, safe, and modern destination by the Baltic Sea. Yes, we have innovative spirit and creative minds, and therefore I ask for the first video.
Hi, human. So glad you've made it to the Earthwork Gallery. We've been open for thousands of years, but these exhibitions, they never get old. Let me show you around. That piece over there, we call it The Sea. The Big Bang and God are still trying to negotiate the copyrights on that one. Oh, here's something more contemporary. All right now, and if you'd come here, stand right here. To the left, to the left. Boom! We framed the most remarkable masterpiece of them all. Just in time for happy hour. Every hour is happy hour here, to be honest, but still, can I get you a drink? We have something really fresh on tap. Go ahead. I call this one Spring on the Rocks. Wait, that's a good song. Turn it up. Ah, the European Robin. He's so good. Really gets me moving. All right, good to catch up. Good luck with everything. I'm rooting for you. To be honest, we are not a five-star hotel. We've got 1 billion stars lighting up the sky, and we welcome humans accordingly. We're very spacious, truly spacious, and all-inclusive too. The outdoor pools, the workouts, the air conditioning, the view, the surround sound system, the serenity. Come whenever, stay for however long. 1 billion-star resort for the price of none.
Yes, and this is the perfect time to discover paths less traveled in Latvia. And fortunately, we have a lot of beautiful undiscovered and unexplored places in Latvia. And I'm sure that here you can avoid large crowds and keep necessary distances and feel safe. And here tourists have an opportunity to change the tempo of life, enjoy unhurried leisure, and as we say, luxury of being alone or with your family or with your friends. So next video, please. So thank you and welcome to Latvia. We are waiting you. Paul?
Thank you so much. I really loved the first video. Very put a big smile on my face. So we've come to our final destination in the region, and with that, let me just pull this up. And with that, we'll see what happens and see what's happening in Norway. With us is the Director of Sales at Fjord Norway. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Marianne Johnson. Marianne?
Yes. Can you?
All right, perfect. I can hear you.
You can hear me. Can you also see me?
Yes, beautiful, beautiful location. I wish I was there.
Yes. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Fjord Norway. And I'm actually in the middle of the scene in Fjord Norway, one of our most spectacular fjords, the Hardangerfjord. And I'm actually on the road today visiting one of our famous destinations in the Haugesund area in the more southern part of Fjord Norway. Yes, I'm Marianne and I'm Director of Sales, as was already mentioned. I work for Fjord Norway, and Fjord Norway is the western part of Norway, covering 3 big counties and 13 destinations. And we are taking care of the brand Fjord Norway, and are making sure that the world should know where we are and what to do here. Today I will show you 2 movies, and the first one is generally about Fjord Norway. So please enjoy. That was a short introduction to what Fjord Norway is. Fjord Norway is an all year round destination. And of course, for many, most known in the summertime. And some of our icons you may have heard of, like the beautiful long and big fjord, like the Sognefjord, the Pulpit Rock, the Geiranger Fjord, and a lot more. But we also have many secrets to show in the summer, and we will try to help you out with that. In winter time, we have lots of activities also. It's become very popular to combine an experience in the fjords with also an experience in the northern part of Norway, hunting for the northern lights and hunting for the fjord light. But the next video we will show you is an important focus for us. It is to extend the summer season. It's beautiful to come in the fjord, to see the blossoming in the springtime by the fjord and the vibrant city life and with much more space and not so many visitors. This video you will see now is about somebody who came from one of our big metropoles, from New York, from Paris and London, and when they came to visit Fjord Norway, how that changes them and what an impression Fjord Norway makes to them. So please play the next video. Thank you.
It's such a new experience and something completely different.
I think solo traveling is really important because it puts you in a situation where you have to go and talk to people, where you have to meet people.
It has changed my life. Traveling to Norway was a life-changing experience for me.
The scenery, breathtaking, epic. I think that's the best way I can describe the fjords.
You are not used to see all these different type of nature in the same landscape. Whoa. I think you never really get used to this view, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always something different.
Straight away, we just clicked. It's kind of like soulmates who want to go and discover things together, which is lovely.
Today we will take a walk up the hillside, and some parts of the track we have to use snowshoes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Have you done this before?
Absolutely not.
No, first time. In a way, I wish someone fall, you know?
Hey, no, it's gonna be you.
Oh, you?
Oh yeah! Daniel did it! He fall! Yes. Life goes too quick, and it's nice to discover new places, take time, and breathe.
To be able to step out and look at life in a different way, you need a second to just recharge.
It's true. We are living on this earth, but it's not our place, you know? And when you live in big cities, sometimes you forget your place into that world, and you are so little compared to everything.
Oh, Charlotte, how you doing?
Oh la la, my God.
Yeah!
Champion of the world!
Solo traveling gives you sort of the opportunity to explore and be a bit more adventurous within yourself. You might go somewhere and start talking to a local and discover that there's something else you should go and look at.
That's Grandpa. He's a good worker. Cheers, guys. Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to compare the stuff I've had in New York with
Yeah.
this side.
I know I'm going to go home and I'm going to really reevaluate what's important to me.
I'm leaving a different person than when I came. This experience, it was enhanced because of the both of you.
Yeah.
The people that I've met on this trip, oh my gosh, I felt like I've known them forever.
If you want a slow life, maybe you need to go somewhere where the life is slower.
So I hope you have seen that Fjord Norway has a lot to offer, and that also autumn time is a very nice time to come and visit. Fjord Norway is a perfect destination for those who would like a more active holiday, and we have lots of companies that focus and helps them, our guests, to do hiking trips, biking, kayaking and skiing. That combination is a wonderful experience, and you can do that almost all year round here in our region. So with that said, I hope you had a short, nice little journey to Fjord Norway, and also live here from the Hardangerfjord, and I will be with you for the rest of this session. So welcome to Fjord Norway. I hope to see some of you here sometime in the nearest future. Thank you very much for having attended.
Well, thank you very much, Marianne. You can stay because, Marianne, you can come back and you can stay because I'll actually invite all of our speakers to come back for our discussion. And then just remind all of our attendees, both on Facebook and here, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. So if everyone can come back and turn their cameras on, so all our speakers, David, Marianne, Miko, I have some questions I'll start off with, and just give it to all of you so you guys each answer them per how in regards to your destination. So as some of you have mentioned that you're open to vaccinated travelers. So can you just make it clear? So the question I'm posing is your destination open? Is it open to just green lanes? And what would be the protocols for arriving to your destination? So we'll start from my top, I guess, is Miko. Yes, I guess I'll start with you and I'll just go down the list.
Hey, thanks for the question. And I got to say, hey, each and every video I saw just inspired me. I started to jump up and down and started to look at, tickets that I need to get to your destinations. But yeah, I wish I had a simple answer, Paul, to your question, because we still see the way that country travel restrictions are set up. They're bilateral setups. You still see green, ambers, and reds. I mean, as a rule of thumb, for double jabbed, passengers or double vaccinated passengers coming to Finland, they're very welcome. But then there's also the bilaterals in regards to when returning to the country of origin and how that is set up when coming from different countries. So my kind of 2 cents is that travelers do kind of also need to take a bit of more understanding in regards to what the processes are between, for example, the country of origin and Finland, or the Nordic countries, or Scandinavia overall. How I do see the trends going forward, it is slowly becoming more and more open, which is a good sign. But we do still see bubbles, sandboxes, and different kind of words being used for different kind of lanes. But rule of thumb is that double vaccinated it's becoming really smooth to travel, and Finland is also welcoming those easily. Then you start getting to the colors and so on. But double jabbed, double vaccinated, life is becoming easier.
Well, I mean, just from what's the next person, when you say double jabs, though, I mean, what about those with, let's say, the Janssen vaccine? I mean, would they, you know, I know people didn't like the term like double jab, but like fully vaccinated. If it was the Johnson vaccine, is that accepted or not?
Yeah, Finnair is Finnair or Finland. Finnair. We still have airline, but what we are following at the moment is we are following what WHO has used as the vaccinated kind of, you know, policies and so on. So we're following what WHO is saying in regards to overall vaccinations which are accepted and how you kind of, you know, define fully vaccinated.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. I'll go. I'm just going to go down from what I see on my screen. So, David, you're next on my screen.
Yeah, so Sweden, as many people know, have been quite available throughout the pandemic, to be honest. But general, you need the double vaccination and you need to have a test within 72 hours before entering Sweden. It's a little bit easier if you're in a Scandinavian country, if you're going through several of the Scandinavian countries. But yeah. So, but there's really good information on the official web pages, and you can find this info through the Swedish Lapland Visitors Board as well. And you can read up on your countries. If you're outside of EU, there are a few countries that have their own rules, but it can all be found very easily on these kind of web pages. So, yeah.
And so, I mean, I would assume maybe some of other destinations all have the double vaccine, you know, double fully vaccinated and the PCR test. Just want to add, you know, when in that is there any protocols like I know in the Phuket sandbox you need insurance and a certificate of entry. You know, if you can add maybe if there's any of that other precautions or documents needed, is that something that's needed for Sweden, or just the vaccination? You show full vaccination and PCR test.
We don't have that rule from the Sweden side of things. It might be that the country you're coming from have different rules, and then you need to have that checked out for returning. But getting into Sweden, you need a double jab and a 72-hour test valid. But we're getting a new update on the 31st of August on what kind of rules that will apply for September. But as of now, that's what we can read on the Swedish side of things.
All right, I'll move down. Next on my screen is Fleming. Fleming.
Yes. Yes, as I said before, Denmark is, we feel we are back to normal when we live here, but still there are restrictions and it is a little complicated, I suppose, Mikko and David said, also for Denmark. If you are from an EU country and double vaccinated or have a negative test or have had the COVID disease, then you can freely go in and out. That goes mainly also for most OECD countries, and in Asia that goes for Singapore, Japan and South Korea. So Singapore, Japan and South Korea can actually go in and out of Denmark, and your customers can go there without any restrictions if you are fully vaccinated. Everybody from all other countries in Asia, you are still welcome. You can go on business trips if you have a business purpose. You can also come as tourist, but you have to prove a negative test, PCR test, and you also have to go into isolation for up to 10 days, but you can get out of it with a negative test after 4 days. So that's the rule. So it makes it complicated right now, and especially for those coming from Asia, for example, which used to go around in the Nordic countries. So it's not only towards Denmark, but it's also between Denmark and Sweden and Norway and Finland. So it is a little complicated at the moment.
I'll now move to Inese. You're next to my screen. So what about Latvia? What's the situation there in terms of traveling to Latvia now?
Yes, the situation is very similar to other countries, that there are like very complicated situation, and restrictions depend on which country you are coming from and whether you have been vaccinated or recovered from COVID-19. And starting from mid-June, Latvia is open for international tourists from European countries. So the digital COVID-19 certificate is proof that a person has been vaccinated or tested or recovered. All persons who enter Latvia must fill in electronic questionnaire, which should be completed within 48 hours before crossing the border. And our government gradually is lifting the restrictions for international tourists. For example, beginning on 1st of September, so next week, travel to Latvia without additional restrictions will be allowed for persons from USA, Australia, Israel, New Zealand, and Canada. For those persons who are vaccinated or recovered. So yes, this process is going on, and I hope that in the near future we will have more countries which we can add to this list of those where you can freely enter Latvia.
Yeah. I'd go to Marianne, but I think she dropped off here. So, yeah. Now, I think in your presentations, in all your presentations, you talked a bit about this. So I was going to sort of just highlight a bit more. You know, what makes your destination special, especially as we know that travel behavior will change. After the pandemic or because of the pandemic. I think all of you touched on a bit, but what makes your destination so special in that new normal? I mean, we'll start from David at the bottom here.
Yeah, well, we're quite blessed, sort of being sustainable by nature. This is a part of the world where very few people live, and we have sort of a farmer society, Arctic farmer society. So we're very used to find food in nature. All the lakes, rivers are clean water, eatable fish, and we have a nature's pantry that's very rich. And I think what's unique for us is that you can come here and you feel very alone in the world. Our suppliers are quite often locals. Most of them are locals with a rich history living in this area. So it's a very transformative destination where you get to learn about the culture and meet the locals. And I think that's a very suitable post-COVID destination with all those elements. All your clients can come here and, not meet many people and very much experience the Arctic lifestyle.
Well, thank you very much. Fleming?
Yes. Yeah, representing all of Denmark, I could of course talk much about nature and coastline where we don't have a lot of people, tourists during the year. But even in our bigger cities like Copenhagen, Aarhus, Odense, Aalborg, it's quite safe to be here. We are not overcrowded with tourists. There's a lot of space. We have high hygiene factors as we already had actually in the Nordic countries. So I think all customers will feel very safe and secure when they come here. Also because up to now, 75% of the Danes have had their second vaccine now. So even though we have some incidents coming between the children and the schools and so on, it's going down and the number of hospitalized people are very low. So yeah, so I think all your customers can feel very safe when you go to, probably all the Nordic countries at the moment.
Right. Inese?
Yes, now we see this trend that people try to avoid crowded places, and we usually say that Latvia is not and will never be a mass tourism destination, and I can say that we can enjoy now the advantage of being a small destination, because our tourism infrastructure is perfectly suitable for individuals and small groups, and now we are ready for this new trend, and when people are trying to avoid these crowded places. And responding to the current demand for smaller groups and these local experiences, our tourism companies also expand the offer for small groups and trying to extend also the summer season and offer all year round activities. During the pandemic, we have developed many new tourism products which are in line with the current trends and demand. So new nature tourism products, which includes also local lifestyle and new hiking and cycling trails. So I think that yes, we can be in line with these new demand and new trends.
Thorlifer?
Thank you, Paul. If I start maybe with what was asked in the previous round, then we have one of our benefits is that we have only one general gateway into the country, so the control is very easy there. We require a full vaccination with WHO approved vaccine, and we before you can board the aircraft, you have to provide as well a negative PCR test. But with those things in hand, then you are free to enter from wherever you are coming in the world to Iceland. And we've been seeing even new destinations or visitors from new countries coming in great numbers here to Iceland to enjoy the white spaces. We have, of course, as all the other Nordic countries, a high-class healthcare system. So people can feel very safe here. Our the proportion of fully vaccinated people, I think, is becoming one of the highest in the world. Practically everybody in Iceland is fully vaccinated. I think it's well over 90%, and that's been doing quite well. And it's been this was more or less finished before the summer season to do this total vaccination. And this has given us that those few that catch the disease, they really don't get very ill. So the situation is very good. We have used last year very much because, of course, we were experiencing fewer visitors than we had been having in the previous years. We've been using that to improve our infrastructure. We've been making the attractions more accessible, more safe by constructing walkways and such. So, and as well, new hotels have been developed. So, emerging from this pandemic, Iceland will be a safer and better destination for people from wherever in the world, as long as they are fully vaccinated. The rules upon returning to their own country is something that is almost impossible to comment on. That is so complicated and depending on each country. But arriving in Iceland, you are safe and sound. Thank you.
Apologies, I didn't get to you on that first question. You know, there was people had dropped in and out, so all the images moved of where everyone was sitting on my screen. So Miko, you're the last one for that question, and I want to be able to get to some of these questions we get from our audience. So
Hey, perfect. Hey, thank you. You know why Finland? Hey, we're the happiest nation in the world. We have room to roam. What Visit Finland, put into nice words about us having room. So there's definitely room to roam in Finland as well as in all of our countries. The living like a Finn, renting a Finn are also themes that we've used in Finland before, where you actually see what it's like to be an everyday Finn. And kind of combining with what my fellow panelists have been saying, that the nature, combining that with cities and different activities in the nature, where I still remember one group coming from Asia and us going in the forest and just picking blueberries was an experience that can anyone go into the forest and just pick the blueberries from the forest and eat it directly. I mean, it's small experiences that we even slightly take for granted, also sometimes bring an experience on top of the snowmobiles and the reindeer safaris and the dog sled safaris and the others that are offered. But I think, the nature, the room to roam, the happiest nation in the world that we extend to all of, the Nordics and Scandinavia. I think these are, putting us as an area actually higher on the list of destinations that it's been prior, that I think our strengths seem to be stronger in the present moment going forward.
Thank you. I said I want to get to some of these questions here, and actually there's a bunch of them about vaccines, and you've all touched on this fact that you need to be double vaccinated, and maybe you all maybe follow. I mean, do you all follow World Health Organization guidelines on approved vaccines for entry into your country? Or are there some vaccines which have been approved by World Health or the WHO that aren't approved for travel to your destination? I know, like for instance, Sinovac was recently approved by the WHO. Is that accepted, or do all your destinations follow what's provided by the WHO? If you want to speak up, feel free to speak up. Fleming.
I'm actually, yeah, it is a little complicated. What the official says from Danish side is that the EMA approved vaccines. So there's probably a small difference between the WHO and the EMA vaccines, but that's what the Danish government says. That's the one we're saying.
Okay, so is that true for all the other destinations? You guys can just nod your head, or if it's different, let me know. But if do all of you follow the same as Fleming had said, when running those guidelines for approved vaccines? It seems that is correct. So yeah, so that means for people who are asking for regarding the vaccine situations and what's accepted, you would then need to check that. From the European Union and the EMAC and what's approved on M, as opposed to not on the World Health Organization approved list of vaccines. So hopefully that answers 3 of these questions that have been submitted here. So let me just clear that. I'm going to start from the top here, and this is, I guess, regarding Iceland and Lapland. What place or places can we connect if we go to Iceland or Lapland? So I guess, what are the connections to get to these destinations?
Well, Iceland is, yeah, thank you. Iceland is extremely accessible. We have, last summer, we had 23 different airlines flying into Iceland. So if you are connected, we don't have any direct flights to Asia, but flight connections through all the major hubs, Helsinki, Copenhagen, Stockholm, London, Frankfurt, Paris, and even then onwards to the US. Then we have very good connections to the US as well. So getting to Iceland is the easiest part that you can think of. We have excellent connections, and last time when everything was in full order, there were 90 different cities that had direct flights to Iceland. So no problems getting here. It is wanting to go back home that can be a problem.
Well, so I mean, so you have major connections from like Dubai or any of the hubs in that region?
No, we are limited to we are limited into these Europe and the US. The furthest flight, I think, is San Francisco or Anchorage on the west side, and to the Baltics and Moscow and on the east side. But we're not into the Gulf and not yet into Asia, but simply with the growth of for example, Chinese outbound tourism, if that continues in the same manner that it has been growing pre-COVID, then I'm pretty confident that we will have a direct connection with Shanghai or any of the major cities in the Orient within 2 years after things have been running normal. So it is just a question of time when the demand builds up into that.
And David, is that the same for you, or do you have more connections?
Yeah, well, through Stockholm, we're quite accessible from all over the world, of course. And I recommend in these times, sustainability is important. From Stockholm, you can easily connect by a train, and it's quite a nice way of seeing most of Sweden going up to Lapland. What's also good for us is that we are so close to Finland. They do have a lot more connections than we have. So you can fly to Finland, experience Finland, and then come over to Sweden to experience Swedish Lapland too. But I guess Finnair can speak more about that.
I was just about to say that. I'm sure Mikko is going to be like, let me speak. I can tell you where all the connections are to get to this region. So please do let us know.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't going to remain quiet on this question, but I mean, throughout the past, past year and a half, we have kept Asia connected with Helsinki and our destinations in this region as well as in Europe, Korea, Japan, China, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Singapore is coming back into our network in Q4. So we are keeping Asia connected, as this is at the core of our strategy. Unfortunately, it has been very cargo driven as the passenger demand, not surprisingly, hasn't been the driver over the past year and a half. But as I mentioned in my beginning, that it's one of the biggest jobs that we have as an airline, and I could almost copy paste it to any other airline, is that how do you build that network? How do we increase frequency? Finnair was the largest airline operating from Europe into Japan. I mean, we had the most frequencies out of any European airlines. We're starting Busan in Korea next summer. Bangkok, we're flying up to triple daily on certain days, and Hong Kong double daily. So our Asia is really at the core of our strategy, and we're extremely ambitious on returning our flights into Asia. It's the demand which is very much linked with the I don't want to say confusing, but the complex restrictions that are out there in regards to travel, be it the bilaterals or the sandbox bubble type of approaches, versus the vaccinations and so on, as you brought up, Paul. But if we look at connectivity, even today there is connectivity from Asia through Helsinki into all of these areas, and it's one that we do want to keep. Our seats from Helsinki into northern Lapland are nearly at 2017 levels. So we have a lot of capacity going up into the Finnish Lapland, which is naturally the base for Finnair. The passenger mixes will be slightly different, as we will not have that many Asian visitors as we did have in 2017. But we do want to keep the infrastructure up and running as we are looking forward to seeing strengthened demand into Lapland, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of all of the Lapland areas and northern areas in Europe, that this winter we are expecting far greater passenger demand than, for example, last winter.
Yeah, and these are direct flights. I mean, you're talking like from Japan and Korea. These are direct flights to Finland.
Helsinki. Yes,
okay.
so direct flights to Helsinki. So the Finnair core of the network is very Asia driven, where we had I'd love to bring up the map of Finnair on how we flew back in 2019, but I think I'd rather do that once we start to solidify our 2022 schedule for next summer. But we are really, pushing to get our Asian flights back, which are cargo driven. But even as of today, we do have many cities as the Seouls, the Tokyos, the Shanghais, Hong Kongs, Bangkoks, and soon to be Singapore again back in our network for passenger operations.
All right. All right, that's great. So let me go to the next question here. This is actually a good question here. What about so for those who are fully vaccinated, what other restrictions are there? I mean, is there face masks while you're in destination? Is there social distancing? I mean, are some of those other guidelines in place, or if you're fully vaccinated, life is pretty much normal in your destination? I'll start with Anise, if you may.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. Once you enter Latvia, then of course there are also some restrictions in tourism attractions. Physical distancing of 2 meters from each other should be maintained. Also, face masks should be worn in public spaces, like in public transport, shops, museums. Yes, these are the main restrictions. All tourism attractions, museums, places with art and history exhibitions, and other tourism service places are open, and all these places must work in line with epidemiological safety requirements. And it means that, for example, one-way visitor flow must be ensured, COVID certificates must be checked if, for example, there is event or other gathering. Enough space and distancing must be provided in service places. So regular ventilation of the premises must be ensured. But each company must prepare this safety plan, and it is also checked by responsible institutions. And I would say that there's no specific restrictions on services and tourism attractions, and tourists can enjoy everything that Latvia has to offer. Only this distancing and face masks.
Right, thank you. I think Marianne's back. I'll ask her to come back on and maybe ask, see if she can help answer that question, and maybe want to add anything that she might have missed. Marianne, are you here? I see her name, but let's see if she can up. Hi, you're back.
Hello?
Yes,
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm in the car.
It's all right. It's all right. The question, I assume your destination is open to, like the rest of the Nordic countries in terms of having, being fully vaccinated and of course having a PCR test. Is that correct? And then, if you're open, and of course there's probably some bilateral agreements with different countries and, the color code system, green and red. But then for fully vaccinated travelers, when they come to your destination, are there like a mask mandate? Do they have to wear masks? Is there social distancing in place? What other protocols are in place in destination?
Yeah, we still have these 1 meter distance. It's but it's not a demand. What is it? Demand. You don't have to, but if you cannot hold 1 meter distance, it's what the recommendations are at the moment. But it varies a little bit. Norway is a big country, so it varies because the pandemic is still not over here either. So it changes a little bit from region to region. And as you know, I cover the Western Norway, and it's been But the main thing, most of our attractions are open, but maybe with a little bit limited capacity. And of course, they all follow the national restrictions. And I heard you were discussing also about the World Health Organization, and we follow mainly the rules from our national part of this organization, yes, and the government, of course. So, but we are welcome. We have guests. We just passed some guests here on the road from we've seen guests from Germany, from Netherlands, and some other nationalities in Europe. So we are open to those who are vaccinated.
Okay. I mean, so do anyone want? I guess we, instead of going to each in reverse, I mean, so are masks still required in your destination? If they're not required, you can let me know. If they are required in destination, you don't have to say anything. So David, Dorfler, Fleming.
Yeah, we have no restrictions anymore from 1st of September, next Tuesday next week, or Wednesday is, I think it is. No restrictions, no face mask, no anything anymore. We have had some restrictions that you had to show your COVID passport to get into inside the restaurant and so on, but that's also lifted from next week. Okay. So no restrictions anymore. Of course, recommendation of having a 1 meter distance, but it's not by law.
Yes. In Iceland, whole of this summer we had absolutely no restrictions at all. Then we had a small relapse in the pandemic, and they were put up this 1 meter distancing. There have been announced that there will be new regulations published tomorrow, Friday, and there we suspect that it will be eased up quite a lot. At the moment, if you cannot maintain this 1 meter distance, then you're requested to have a mask, and of course, it is just put up in the hands of each individual to have his sanitary things in order, to be washing hands frequently and taking care of themselves. But I assume that from tomorrow, then we'll be more or less without any restrictions.
Okay. I guess David and Miko, I guess in your destination you still require masks, but I guess no. David's saying no.
We don't have any mandatory masks, and we haven't had that for the entire pandemic. It's been recommended. It's just in the hospitals and stuff where you have to have it, but no masks necessary.
Okay.
Just one quick comment, as I can talk for the service that we provide. So Finnair flights, we do require the mask when flying with us. So that's one note where it is mandatory. Otherwise, in Finland, it's more of a recommendation to use it in public transport and stores, but it's not a must as such. But on Finnair flights, we do require the use of masks.
And I guess I should say this too, right? For our audience here, I mean, what they may be saying now. I mean, of course, the situation is constantly evolving. We have the Delta variant coming up, so what maybe they're saying now, of course, can change for any destination at any time around the world. So I think it's important that I should reiterate that I don't want you guys to fault the speakers and say they're saying one thing and something happens the next day. Nobody foresaw this pandemic. Nobody foresaw everybody thought by now we'd be open up at the end of the year, but of course we've seen the Delta variant. So I should just I feel like I should say that, because make sure that people understand that situation is constantly evolving, and while there may not be a mask mandate today, you never know what happens tomorrow. It's to always make sure to check their websites, check their government websites. I'm sure we can get that all over to you, and make sure you're updated on the situation on the ground and what's happening there. So I think it's really important that I do mention that. We're just about out of time, so you know what? Before we go out of time, I'll let all of you say one last word as we end this. And really, I have to say, just want to say this before we get to the last word. Really, all the videos and everything was really inspirational. I was texting to an old colleague of mine, how it was painful to watch because it just really makes you want to travel again. But right now, of course, my destination, it is tough to do anything. So I'll start with Marianne. She's in the car. So Marianne, last words from you.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me coming in first, because I'm soon arriving to my final destination. It was lovely to be able to show you actually real fjord Norway, by the Hardanger Fjord. We are here. We are so prepared to be welcoming our guests from your part of the world. So we can't wait. We are here. We are really looking forward to it. So hope to see you here sometime, and that you will send your guests to Fjord Norway when this is over. So thank you for having attended today. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much for doing it while you're driving and being out and about. Really a beautiful scenery out there, and safe driving. You can turn the camera off and go on mute, turn it off. I'll let you drive. All right, David, last words.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I just want to say that Asia haven't perhaps been our biggest market prior to the pandemic, but we were really getting into it just before it all happened. And we were starting to get involved in the networking and everything. So I hope that we now can pick this up, and I hope to see Asian guests here soon. Thank you.
Inese, last words?
Yes. So last year, we all experienced a lot of changes, and despite many still remaining challenges, there are already signs of some recovery. So, and we all know that real recovery will be only possible when international tourists will return to our destinations. So I hope that this moment will be very, very soon, and welcome to Latvia when the moment will be right.
And Fleming, over to you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for being with us today and being part of this. Yeah, we hope, of course, and it can only be a hope, as you said, we don't know what's happening, but that we come from the spring and onwards next year can really welcome all Asians back to Denmark. Welcome you back to the a new fantastic Hans Christian Andersen Museum just opened this summer in Odense. Really fantastic museum. Everyone should go and see it. Welcome to the land of Legoland. Welcome to our fantastic cities, which is not that big, so you still feel the hygge, coziness when you go around and feel the atmosphere. Yeah, welcome to land of everyday wonders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thorflor.
Well, we trust that international travel will be resuming hopefully soon. The Asian market is very important for us because it is arriving here all through the year. And I would just like to say that you should come to Iceland and see Mother Nature at its best, and see the world, see the Earth developing when we have our volcano erupting. Make sure you catch the opportunity. But thank you for having me, and really, yeah, hope this pandemic will soon be over and we can get back to running our business in a normal manner. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mikko, I think you were the first presenter, now the last one to do their final words.
All right. Hey, a big thank you, first of all, to all of you. And like I mentioned a few times, flights between Helsinki and Asia is at the core of Finnair's strategy. We want to get back to the levels that we were flying back in 2019. We want to offer easy accessibility to all of the countries involved here, from Finland to the whole Baltic region and to the beautiful cities that I have been privileged to also visit. So we're really looking back at getting the network back up and running, and I really hope to see you on board. If Fleming mentioned that they're the land of Lego, Finnair is also the official airline of Santa Claus. So I have constant contact with Santa Claus, and my wish list is to get travel back and get travelers to this region. So let's hope my wish is kind of, you know, given, and we start to see leisure travel to our areas come back soon, because I think it was Mariana said it from Norway that we are ready. I think we're all prepared. We have our services. We take the health the health kind of focused approach in regards to our travel services and approaches that we have, and we take this extremely seriously, and we are ready. So anytime the travelers in Asia are ready, we're ready for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our speakers. Your destination, as I touched upon the new travel behavior, after the pandemic, all your destinations really provide that great opportunity for the traveler, right? Open destinations, clean air, beautiful nature. So, hiking, trekking, anything that you want sort of to get away from the crowd. So I think, thank you so much. Those videos were really truly inspiring and a bit painful. As I said, it's tough for me to watch that while I'm locked down. So thank you so much. And with that, you guys can leave us, and hopefully I can see you guys at your destinations sooner rather than later. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thanks.
So with that, I'm going to do a quick wrap up here. And not only thank you to our speakers, but thank you to Paul at the Nordic Collective and his whole team, Helena and Andrew, and everybody there at the Nordic Collective for the Nordic Tourism Collective for helping us put together this webinar. If you want to know any information, feel free to contact me. I'll shoot you my email just at the end of this. But if you if you missed any part of this webinar, you can view it on our Facebook page, and we will be uploading it to our YouTube page. If you like what you see on our YouTube page, feel free to visit the other videos that we have there, like and subscribe. And we do have other webinars coming up, so I'll just give you a touch of what's coming up next week. This is next week on August 31st. This is our PATA workshop, Pitch Perfect, Market Your Business concept. So you'll be hearing from the founder of Sigmund, Mr. Elliot Mershin, and the director of Sigmund, Ali Labriola. This is for PATA members only, so you can only join if you're a PATA member. This is some of the benefits that we're trying to provide exclusive for our members. If you want to know more about PATA membership, feel free to contact me or visit our websites. And at the end of next week, we do have our virtual PATA Travel Mart. This is in conjunction with the Sichuan International Travel Expo from the 2nd to the 5th. So, this is where, of course, there's a trade show, and we also have some great content. We'll be having some destination insights similar to this, but we're looking at different regions in Asia. So please do join us. You can register today as a visitor. So please do check out our website. As I said, if you have any questions about today's webinar, if you'd like to get in touch with the speakers, feel free to email me. My email is paul@pata.org. I'm happy to pass that along to our colleagues at the Nordic Tourism Collective. If you want to know about any of the activities I've mentioned or any of our upcoming activities, please visit our website at www.pata.org. There you can also subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date on all of our activities. We're rolling out a bunch of new webinars, roundtables, and other initiatives. So please do follow us. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. And as I said, thank you once again to our speakers. Really, those videos were truly inspirational. Really wish I could be there. Anywhere, any of those destinations right now, really beautiful. Thank you so much to our speakers. And thank you again to all of our friends over at the Nordic Tourism Collective, Paul, Helena, and Andrew. And as always, thank you to all of our members, our chapter members, our life members, our partners. Without you, none of this would be possible. So your continued support is extremely valuable to us here at the Secretariat. And last but not least, thank you to all of you for joining us for today's webinar. I will see you soon, either next week at the webinar or at PATA Travel Mart, or hopefully at another webinar in the future. Thank you. Take care. See you soon. Bye.